Welcome back to the Detroit is Different podcast studio. And I have with us someone that has poured into the art form I love the most. And if y'all don't know, a lot of the roots to me, microphones, talking with my hands, and all of this whole thing starts in hip hop, right? So when you think of the origins of hip hop around this place called Detroit, me and my man Sterling did this whole project. Introduced to him, but definitely a legend. Legend to the point where, like, when Eminem was shouting out, getting into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is so weird that rock and roll needs hip hop to still be relevant, but that tells you where hip hop is. One of the names first mentioned is the man before me. I always think about it with a connection that I'm gonna bring up a little bit later on when we get into it. Still with some music. Staying fly, one of the best lyricists that you can think of, pound for pound, from Detroit. And he can't go a day without a rhyme. Mersiless Amir, how you feeling, my brother?
Hey, I'm chilling. I'm good. How you doing, Curry?
Oh man, everything is cool, man. Everything is cool, man. I'm glad that you definitely are coming into the studio. So coming into the studio, we really want to start off top where you reached out to me and was like, okay, I'm working on something new.
Yeah.
And people need to connect to it. What you working on that's new?
Man, hey, bro, I got a new album that it's about to drop very soon. You know what I'm saying? We had to push back the release date because, you know what I'm saying, we just trying to get everything. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It happened all the time with major labels, you know. So it ain't no big deal. But, you know, being independent, you know, we just want everything to be on point, A1 chip. So, you know what I'm saying? I pushed it back for a couple weeks. And, yeah, we looking at a release date probably mid-September, you know. Okay.
All right. So this project that you working on and tying into, let's talk a little bit about the flavors, because as much as the Emcee from Detroit, and we're gonna get in a lot into that story.
Yeah.
You also got a lot of Cali influence too, man. And this kind of brings you back and forth from the West Coast back over here to Detroit.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about it.
For sure. I mean, you know, obviously I'm from Detroit, you know, and I love the Detroit sound. I feel like I'm, you know what I'm saying, one of the trailblazers of Detroit sound and certain aspects of it, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I definitely embody Detroit flavor, you know. I also, you know, have lived in different hip-hop meccas, you know what I'm saying? So I feel like I represent hip-hop in a well-rounded, you know what I'm saying, perspective. You know, lived in Harlem for a while, and you know, I think I told you when we talked one time that I worked with Grandmaster Flash. You know what I'm saying? Did a few songs with Flash, you know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? That made me feel like I was officially certified hip-hop, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, you know what I'm saying? In hip-hop, and but also I lived in L.A., you know what I'm saying? And I lived in London, too, you know what I'm saying? I got some flavor from over there that, you know, that tied into hip-hop, because everybody knows Slick Rick is from London, and he's one of the hip-hop icons. And somebody that we often draw from, you know what I'm saying? Everybody go back to Lottie Dottie and, you know what I'm saying, you know, Children's Story, and those are songs that are iconic in rap music. So hip-hop has so many legs and so many variations and contributions. But also, you know what I'm saying, as you mentioned and asked about L.A., you know, that L.A. influence is major. For me, I lived in L.A.
In the mic. Move the mic up.
Move it up a little bit.
Yeah.
There we go.
Make sure people feel it. All right, cool.
Yeah. I want y'all to feel me for sure, because L.A. had a big impact on me. You know what I'm saying? I lived in L.A. for probably about 8 years, you know, and did a lot of recording, worked with a lot of artists out there. But the L.A., you know, sound and West Coast sound, in my opinion, was majorly influenced by, you know, Detroit music and Motown music. And, you know, we probably discussed this a little bit, but, you know, a lot of the musicians that contributed to that death row sound was Detroit musicians, you know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Yeah. So, you know, that sound is not only, that West Coast sound is partially a Motown sound, you know what I'm saying? And being from Motown, you know, I definitely embody that vibe as well, you know, and work with some of those musicians, as a matter of fact.
And
like
we're gonna we gonna definitely talk about a lot of that in Solar Recordings and
sure. Hey.
Mr. Griffey and a lot
Man,
of that.
listen, did I tell you before that Dick Griffey offered me a record deal?
All right, we about to get into that, but before we go there, we gotta go to the classic Detroit is different.
Okay, let's do it.
Your people and your roots. How deep are y'all in Detroit? Y'all first, second, third generation? What brought them people here?
I mean, my family, like yeah. So my mom's is originally from Detroit. You know what I'm saying? Born and raised.
So you second generation there.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Mom's is from St. Atwine. You know what I'm saying?
And what
East
about
side Detroit?
Her parents?
Her parents, man, her mom, okay, so they was from the Carolinas.
Okay, so they made their way to Detroit, and your mom was the first Detroiter in the family line.
Basically, my mom's, and you know what I'm saying, she got older sisters, but you know what I'm saying, her siblings and her, was like the first ones in Detroit.
Okay.
So,
all right, what when you said the Carolinas, what led them from the Carolinas to Detroit?
Man, you know, it was at that time, it was like opportunity, you know what I'm saying? It was more opportunity in the North, you know, for jobs, make a little more money, you know what I'm saying? We had the factories starting to open up with, you know, Ford and the automotive industry, obviously, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, a lot of my, you know, grand family, you know what I'm saying, worked in the automotive industry, and as did a lot of, you know, people in Detroit. Parents of people in Detroit, you know what I'm saying? So that was definitely a big, you know, plus for people to move up here from the South, you know.
So your pops family, what about his side?
So my pops, he from Dallas. Dallas, Texas, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah, my dad, that's my
what
dad.
led for him to get from Dallas to Detroit?
Man, dude, you know, he went a few places, man. Dad first, you know what I'm saying, he was in the Army, you know. Actually, he was in the Air Force.
Okay.
My bad. So he was in the Air Force. After Air Force, he went to California. He lived in Cali for a little while, and then he ended up moving to Flint. You know what I'm saying? And he actually worked in a plant in Flint for a little while, probably in the 60s. You know what I'm saying? This is like 60, like probably 1960, something like that. And you know what I'm saying? Then he and my mom ended up meeting. Actually, they met in New York though.
Wow.
But they was both. So my mom is a nurse, you know what I'm saying? And she, after nursing school, she went to New York, you know what I'm saying? Was nursing in New York for a while. And her and my father met in New York.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
And they kind of knew the connection from Michigan.
Right.
At that point, like, okay, you from the Mid.
People probably introduced, I think some people from Detroit introduced them while they was in New York. So, you know what I'm saying? That's how that connection came together. But, man, speaking of my pops, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, his father was a Pullman porter. You know what I'm saying? In
so
Texas.
That's like in the, that would be a porter. I'm thinking that's like docks and things like that. What was he doing?
Trains.
Trains,
You know what I'm saying? So he was like the guy on the trains that would, you know, take your ticket on the train, take your ticket, greeting everybody, come on, you know what I'm saying, show them to their seats and whatnot on the trains, you know? So he had a pretty decent salary for a black man, you know what I'm saying, in that era, you know. So they lived in a middle class community in Dallas. My grandfather actually built the home by hand, you know what I'm saying. Built that house, man, and I had an opportunity to see the house. You know, we used to go there for family reunions. You know what I'm saying, back in the 70s, and it was always on Juneteenth. Right?
Wow.
So our family reunions was always on Juneteenth. Now, you know, Juneteenth obviously is when the slaves realized and found out that they had been freed 2 years prior, right?
In Galveston, Texas, because I think for most of America, they think that, okay, well, George Floyd got murdered, and now they just going to create a holiday for us.
Right.
So in Texas, it's, first off, I think, as a person that's hosted them before, Juneteenth is a celebration, not a holiday, which I know for certain people, it's like, what's the difference between a holiday and a celebration? Holy day. Right. You know, even though a lot of other days of commemoration and celebration are recognized as holidays, holidays usually have something of a religious space. Real. You know, even Martin Luther King's birthday is of commemorance and celebration of the work of Martin Luther King, not necessarily a holy day. So that's the first thing. Right. The second thing, in Texas, that celebration has been going on for a long time because, as you say, in Galveston, Texas, as I believe it was General Granger that approached the last plantation in Texas to say, hey, slavery ain't happening anymore.
Right.
You all are no longer enslaved to whatever plantation this is. Hence, that's a day that became a commemorance in Texas, widely celebrated, and even to the point where now your family actually has been celebrating as long as you can remember, because that was a part of the family reunion tradition.
That's right. That's the day of the family reunion was June 19th.
Wow.
Juneteenth. You know what I'm saying? And it was interesting, bro, because we'll go down there, and a lot of our family was surrounding Dallas, like Fort Worth. There was a little town called Mahia and Xenia that we used to go to for little celebrations. And I remember the one year, you know what I'm saying, we went down there. I was about 9 years old. We were out there having a celebration, you know what I'm saying, that day. That night, you know what I'm saying, you hear some screams in the night, right? The next day, they said 3 black boys drowned in the lake.
Wow.
That was right outside of the, celebration area. So everybody tripping like, you know what I'm saying, what happened? What happened? And come to find out, the black boys was in this canoe with the police, right? And they had the boys right
off.
Right. Had them in the canoe. Like, I don't know what they was transporting them, like, to the other side of the lake. I don't know what the fuck was going on, but next thing you know, now the boys is handcuffed behind their back. Hey, they all end up falling in the lake and drowning.
Oh, that was murder.
Murder. And we was right there, you know what I'm saying, when it happened. And everybody was up in arms, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was about to be a little riot going on. And police was out there, rifles and shit. And, hey, it was drama, you know what I'm saying?
I can imagine.
So,
to quote unquote drown while handcuffed, that ain't drowning.
On Juneteenth. So this is a day when we
on Juneteenth.
On Juneteenth. So this is a day we celebrating, you know what I'm saying, our freedom, and
you dealing with the realities of
exactly
of the other side.
Yeah, they don't want you to be free. They don't want you to feel too free. You know what I'm saying? Too many liberties. You know what I'm saying? Hey, bro, it's real in the field, you know what I'm saying?
In Dallas, well, first off, Texas is such an interesting place. Sterling's actually in studio. Sterling lived in Dallas for a minute, too.
Is that right? Shout out Sterling.
Well, Houston.
Okay.
But,
what's up?
But Texas is very interesting. Just the culture that is there, the way of the culture there. So I'm guessing you got a lot of family there if that's where your granddad kind of stuck his claim, and being that he built his own home, that's real powerful. Right. Hearing something and seeing something like that. Absolutely, man. It was a beautiful house, you know what I'm saying? It was like a ranch house, you know what I'm saying? 1 story. Had like two bedrooms, you know what I'm saying? But a garage that was like separate from the house. My pops used to tell me the stories, man. My grandfather was one of the only people in the neighborhood with a car. He had like a Model T Ford, something like that. You know what I'm saying? So he had the car. The car. I mean, probably damn near the only car that there was back then, because this was probably like 1935. Oh, so he was definitely doing well. Yeah. So they was definitely looking at him like, what that? What he doing with one of them? Right. You know what I'm saying? Like when you see a nigga in a Lambo in the hood or something, like, what the fuck? I mean, really, it would be like seeing somebody with a flying car today. Probably so. And the only person with the flying car is a black dude. You'd be like, what? You know what I'm saying? Crazy. All right. So they meet, your parents meet in New York and obviously make their way back to Michigan. Was it always a plan to come back to Michigan, or was it just... or you don't even know? Yeah, I'm not really sure. Like, I don't think they necessarily planned to come back here and live necessarily, but it ended up happening. Okay. And, because my dad wasn't living there at the time. He was just visiting. Oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? He was just visiting New York, and so he ended up meeting my mom's, and, eventually she ended up moving back to Detroit. Okay. So that means your dad got the gift of gab. Maybe so. Yeah. Relocating your mom. Maybe that's where I got this silver tongue from, huh? That was like, hey, what you doing here? You come back to the crib. All right, let me fly you out. Huh? Original flued out. Flued out, for sure. Back in the day. Yeah. All right. So what neighborhood do you remember growing up in? Bro, you know what I'm saying? So let me just explain a couple things. You know what I'm saying? So when my mom and dad came back to Detroit, got together, got married,
You know what I'm saying? They got married and started a business. Really, they started their business before they got married. You know what I'm saying? And that was kind of one of the conditions. You know what I'm saying? My mom's like, look, we're gonna do this and we're gonna be making money together, and I'm gonna be helping you make money. We're gonna be together. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so that's where the gift of gab came from your mama. It's like, hey, all right now.
It might have been that for sure. Real talk, but you know what I'm saying? So, but you know, Dads was happy about it. You know what I'm saying? They got together. Yeah, they got together and they started this company called Mr. Wiggs and Associates, right? So they started making wigs and stuff, bro. You know what I'm saying? They was like one of the first people in the hair industry, you know what I'm saying?
How did they, who knew the information? Like, was this already something they was into? What was the line on like, okay, this is a market, we know we can fulfill it, but what was the competitive advantage of them getting into wig making?
I think it was just the time, you know what I'm saying? The era, the 60s, you know what I'm saying? You know, Motown was starting up. You know, my mom went to Cass, you know what I'm saying? And she actually went to Cass with Diana Ross.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? She's like 3 years older than Diana Ross. They was in the school at the same time. But you know what I'm saying? So moms and them used to see all of the Motown artists in the 60s. You know, she told me stories about, you know, chopping it up with Marvin Gaye, you know what I'm saying, and Diana and Mary Wells, and you know what I'm saying, all of these people was, you know, right around in the area, in the bars with you, you know what I'm saying? So wigs and things was like, you know, what the artist was wearing, you know what I'm saying? Like Mary Wells and Diana was wearing wigs all the time if you look back, you know what I'm saying? That wasn't their hair, you know?
Yeah.
So they got the idea to start doing that. Start doing wigs, and they connected with like a major company. It was kind of like a Kmart, but it was called Corvettes. I don't know if y'all old enough to remember Corvettes, bro, but Corvettes was like the first Kmart, but it was kind of flyer than Kmart though. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It was flyer than Kmart. It was like more like a Target, yeah.
Okay.
Something like a Target in a way.
Okay.
You know, in the 60s, early 70s. So they had the shop out there, and after that, they opened their own store on Plum Street, you know what I'm saying, downtown. It was called Little Things, right? And so Little Things was doing well, you know what I'm saying, started doing well. And, you know, I'm born around that time.
Okay,
Plum Street was
so from entrepreneurship, that's the flow that you see, not necessarily like the 9-to-5 grind that a lot of people saw within their parents.
Yeah, not
you always saw the entrepreneurship.
Always. That was from day one. You know what I'm saying? Moms and pops had started them stores and stuff, and basically, you know, like I said, I was born when they had the shop on Plum Street, so we lived downtown on Van Dyke when I was born. You know what I'm saying? Right by Jefferson.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? The house still standing up there. It's like a historic home right now.
So it's like, so kind of in that footprint of Indian Village and so many other things. So what was it like? What do you remember as a kid in that area? Because, I mean, it seems like that part of Detroit may change every 5 years. Right. What do you remember?
Bro, honestly, that place, I don't remember at all, except going back. And moms and pops saying, this the house where we, you know what I'm saying, lived, and, you know what I'm saying, who lived in the, because it was like a big-ass house, like kind of like a 2-family flat, you know what I'm saying? So she was telling me about the people who lived next door upstairs and the people who lived downstairs and this and that. But what happened was, you know, after Plum Street, Little Things, they ended up going up to Ann Arbor, you know what I'm saying, and opening a store up there. It was a big store on the U of M campus, right?
Interesting.
Yeah, so
black-owned, a family-owned black retailer,
right,
in Ann Arbor,
right.
Wow, that's
on the U of M campus.
That would be interesting today.
Absolutely.
So let alone before today. What was that like? And
that was interesting, man. Look, so we ended up moving to Ann Arbor because the business started taking off. It was on the campus. It was a block away from U of M. So, you know what I'm saying, at this time, I'm probably like 3 years old. But I still remember, you know what I'm saying, it was a different time, you know what I'm saying? I remember it was a Kresge's at the corner. So our store was like, you know what I'm saying, end of the block.
Yeah.
Kresge's is at the other end of the block. You know Kresge's?
I know
Kresge's
Kresge as the philanthropic organization. I don't
five and
know.
dime store.
I didn't
They
know
call it the five and
Kresge.
dime store.
Okay, so five and dime is kind of like
Right.
like
Like a
a.
dollar store kind of now.
Okay,
In
okay.
a way, but bigger. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't know that that's where the wealth from the philanthropy came from, the Dollar General money. Ain't that
Right.
something?
Right. Kresge. And you know Kresge, so you probably heard of Kresge was like Carnegie and
Yeah.
Rockefeller. Kresge was like a major
Yeah.
wealthy white guy, you know what I'm saying? Who,
I mean, the wealth carries in the foundation today,
yeah.
and that's kind of the brand of today,
exactly.
like a Carnegie and a lot of the other philanthropists per se.
So also to go back to Kmart, Kresge became Kmart. A great expansion of Kresge was Kmart. You know what I'm saying?
knew
That's
that.
what the
Okay.
K comes from. You know what I'm saying? From Kresge.
Okay.
Right? So, but there was a Kmart, a Kresge down at the corner. Look, we had the first Olga's I ever heard of was right next to our store, right? In Ann Arbor. And Olga used to be in that motherfucker, bro. I knew Olga. All right? All right? I knew Olga.
That's like
know what I'm
knowing
saying?
Colonel Sanders. It's like, what up,
Yeah,
though? It's
like
what
knowing
up,
Colonel Sanders, bro. Like we'd go in there, Olga be in there. She'd be like, "Hey, how you guys doing? Come on in, sit down." Like, okay, you know what I'm saying? She was just a nice lady, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But you know what I'm saying? I could just walk right to the campus grounds where the students was out there studying. They had blankets out on the grass and stuff. Hey man, it was different, bro. You know what I'm saying? I was in a different environment. We was in Ann Arbor. We lived on a street called Circle Drive. And you know what I'm saying? That's when I was 3. You know what I'm saying? 4 years old. I think my little sister was born around that time. We brought her home when I was like 4 years old, bro. And then we moved back to Detroit.
So you moved back at like 4.
Right.
Okay. So I'm guessing at this time, like just a lot of entrepreneurial experience that your family's getting. Mom and dad working together, and I'm guessing they may have sold that store. You moved back to the D.
No, we kept that store.
Y'all kept the store,
that
but it
store.
kept
My
expanding.
Pops
Okay.
used to commute back and forth to Ann Arbor. You know what I'm saying?
From Detroit to okay.
Detroit to Ann Arbor every day. You know what I'm saying? For many years, bro. And you know what I'm saying? That store was thriving. It was like, and it was a big store, man. It wasn't a small space. Like it was a huge store. Like when you go in the building, we had this front area, which was a kind of big store, and then you go in the back and it was huge, man. And the stuff we stole was like all imports. Like all imported things, like art, you know what I'm saying, pottery, you know what I'm saying, jewelry. You know, my pops used to travel. I traveled with him when I was a little kid, you know what I'm saying? Him and moms go to Mexico, buying all kind of stuff in little marketplaces and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, like little caravan type of, you know what I'm saying, markets. Little, like, it was wild, bro. And then pops would be in Colombia, you know what I'm saying? Over in Colombia, buying masks and things, you know what I'm saying, to sell in the store, and buying, you know what I'm saying, just clothes, Indian type of, you know what I'm saying, garments, and people loved it. You know what I'm saying? It was.
And this is also unique, just black man at that time traveling. I mean, so much changed in travel post 9/11, but even before, like the importing, exporting, how to ship things, you're relying on like, you know, DHL. I don't know if people know this, but DHL is kind of more known as like the international carrier of different things now. But I can imagine back then, you know, the ways he would have to like work with this post office to get to that post office to get to that post office to then fly in. I mean, it wasn't like express shipping and you tracking with the internet. I mean, that's. Yeah,
and then he's bringing stuff.
You know,
and he's bringing stuff back with him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Then you going through customs. You know what I'm saying? You know how it is going through customs. You just go to Canada. They want to search your whole car.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If they suspect anything, then they got you in the back room and shit. So you know, Pops was
especially going down to Colombia and stuff like that. People would think, oh
Come
man,
on.
black man coming back from Colombia with 15 luggage bags.
You
check
see what
him.
I'm saying?
Check
him. Check him. So bro, we went through a lot of that. You know what I'm saying? Just the fact that, you know, Pops was black, you know what I'm saying, and he's excelling in industry and making things happen. You know, people ain't really want to see that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people didn't want them other people. They want to see that happening. and you know, it difficult. You know what I'm saying? It made it hard to navigate. But you know, I think my dad did an amazing job. My mom did an amazing job. You know what I'm saying? They both worked hand in hand to you know,
to grow and
create that
pour into that
success.
family and that business. And that's so unique that you've witnessed entrepreneurship most of your life. So you've seen the up and down and the flow and the strategy of it.
Absolutely.
Where do you all move when you all come back to Detroit?
Bro, so then we get back to Detroit, bro. We moved to Sherwood Forest.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Pops, moms, they seen a nice home they wanted, you know what I'm saying? They wanted to, you know, raise their family, and they found a nice house, man. We lived on Canterbury. You know what I'm saying? Canterbury, right by St. Martin's, off of 7 Mile, not far from 7 Mile, Canterbury, you know what I'm saying? It was a kind of, you know, I'm little at the time, you know what I'm saying? I'm not tripping. It's a big house and shit, but it was just fun, you know what I'm saying? Had instruments all through the house. Pops had a room up in the attic. It was like all cedar. The whole room was cedar, right? And so he had every instrument in that room.
Who would play instrument? Did your dad play?
Pops,
Did your mom play?
Yeah,
your dad played.
Moms played too. Moms
What did they play?
Moms played the piano, you know what I'm saying, a little bit. She'll play the boogie woogie on the piano, you know what I'm saying? And Pops played piano also, but he was a saxophonist, really. You know what I'm saying? So my pops, man, he was a jazz musician, you know what I'm saying? In Dallas, and when he was young, he was in bands and things like that. You know, he knew dudes like Miles Davis. Miles Davis was you know, I wouldn't say he was a friend of his, but he was an associate of his. An acquaintance.
Okay.
And then, you know, all of the jazz musicians from around Detroit was close friends with my father. Like, Marcus Belgrave, Marcus Belgrave, he played trumpet at my father's funeral.
I'm guessing
you know
Yusef. Wow, that's deep. Yusef Lateef, I'm guessing, and probably
Yusef Lateef.
We're looking at
Donald
Byrd.
Donald Byrd, yeah, bro. But we didn't know Donald Byrd though.
Okay.
But yeah, it was a few other guys that, you know what I'm saying,
Roy Brooks and stuff like that.
And I used to go to all of these sessions, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where this music got infused into me. I used to go to jam sessions with Pops, you know what I'm saying? And we'll just be in somebody's basement, and everybody got an instrument. Somebody got a fucking little piccolo. Somebody over there on drums, playing the drums. Somebody got the sax, a guitar, you know what I'm saying? And hey, it just, you know, it just kind of soaked in, you know what I'm saying?
And you're seeing this, and now I kind of get more of that backstory of your father. So the Air Force definitely opens him up to traveling the world.
Yeah.
And probably being, you know, not the same apprehensions as most people. So, you know, that, but still also this music lives in him too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay? And your mom even respects the music too.
Absolutely.
When does hip hop hit you to say, okay, this is the music I like?
Man, I think I mentioned this when I was talking to you guys at the U of M that time, man. You know what I'm saying? It was absolutely when Rapper's Delight dropped. You know what I'm saying? I remember my homeboy Reggie, man, Reggie Eady. He grew up in my neighborhood too. Reggie Eady is a doctor now, and a lot of people
in Sherwood Forest.
Yeah, he grew up in Sherwood, and he's a doctor now, man. He was the head of the DMC. You know what I'm saying? My guy Reggie, man. But one time, you know, we went to Pasture Middle School, right on Pembroke, right on Livernois and Pembroke.
Yep.
One day he came down the street saying all of this crazy shit, hip hop, hippie, hip hop, and I was like, bro, what is that? Yeah. And he was like, you ain't heard that song yet? And I was like, what song? He was like, you know this one, the hip hop, the hippie, and I was like, bro, what is that shit, nigga? That ain't a song, you know what I'm saying? That don't sound like a song, you know. But he was rapping, he was rhyming. It was interesting. So I'm like, damn, I don't know what that is. But next day I went over to my cousin's house. My older cousins, you know what I'm saying, they used to babysit me. My cousin Glenda, my cousin Greta, you know what I'm saying, and they had the record over there, you know, and I was like, hey, what's this? And they was like, oh, that's a new record, you know. I put it on the platter. Oh, shit, this the song Reggie was just singing, you know what I'm saying? This that song. And then I'm listening to it, and it's crazy. It's like, it's a new experience. Like, you ain't never heard a song like that, you know what I'm saying? And this guy's going on telling all these stories, and, you know, she's heard stories and she's heard fables, how ambitious on the mic and the turntables. I'm like, what? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Dissing Superman.
Yeah, you
A
know
lot
what
of
I'm
raps
saying?
back in the day that was dissing Superman. Me
Right.
and Sterling had a long discussion about that.
Okay, yep. Yeah, he's a fairy,
Superman.
I do suppose, flying through the sky in pantyhose. I mean, man, it was so crazy, man. It was so dope because before that, I'm into Michael Jackson, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Michael Jackson's like probably the greatest thing, you know what I'm saying, that hit the airwaves to me, you know, so, and you know, he stayed up there, but like right now, I'm listening to this shit like, man, this shit is lit, you know?
That's where it's at. So, as you connect with this rapper's delight, it grabs you away.
Right.
When do you transfer from that to writing your first rhyme?
It wasn't long later, man. Probably like really like, I started listening to all of the hip hop, all of the raps, Curtis Blow. Man, one of my favorite raps, I think I was in the 7th grade, man. So maybe like 1978, something like that. Something like that. Man, I heard this song called The Genius Rap. Y'all ever heard that? Genius Rap? Okay, we gotta look up Genius Rap, bro. Okay. So when you look it up, they rap into, you know that song?
Yeah, but it's slipping my mind what that is.
You remember that song, Start? Yeah. What do you consider fun? Yeah. So who rapped? Blade rapped to it.
Yeah.
Blade ended up rapping to it way later, you know what I'm saying? But the first people who rapped to it, it was...
The Genius Rap you talking
Genius Rap was not Dr. Ice, but, man, look, I'm going to just tell you who it was. It was Andre Harrell.
Oh, you know Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde?
Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Okay.
Yes. So that was their song. That was really their hit. And yeah, man. Andre Harrell. A lot of people ain't know he was a rapper. You know what I'm saying? Just think he was just CEO. Executive and whatnot. Yeah. But yeah, he was a rapper, and that song kind of inspired my first rap that I did. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And I did a little rap that was like, man, I think I wrote it for me and my homeboy to rap. You know what I'm saying? Down the block and shit. It was like, man, I think I remember that shit. I said some shit like, we're the wonder kids and you just bet to know it. We're super bad and fixing to show it. We're down. What's up? We can party, right? And we about to rap a record that's out of sight. You know what I'm saying?
Actually, I mean, apropos for that, especially your first rhyme was amazing. So,
hey, good looking, bro. Yeah. It rhymed.
The era, it rhymed, and then that actually sounds like it was
that cadence.
The flow and the feel.
Yeah.
So, so from there, all right, you mentioned middle school, and this is like kind of when it's happening to high school. Where you go to high school?
High school. So by the time I get to high school, we had moved to Southfield. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So I was going to Southfield Lathrop High School.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I was DJing and stuff. That's when I kind of started DJing a little more. You know. So
what type of tables did you get?
Man, look, I started off on some belt drives, man. I had 2 different tables, 2 different. They wasn't the same one. You know what I'm saying? When I first started,
it was mismatched.
Yeah, it was mismatched. Hey, it was mismatched. Hey, I ain't had a sliding fader on the side. You know what I'm saying? The pitch control. Nah, my shit was a little dial on the front, and you would just have to be turning it. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get it together. But you know what I'm saying? But I started working it, and then I started DJing parties, even using them bowl tables, and started making some money and stuff. And eventually, I got them 1200s. You know what I'm saying? Like. Yeah, I bought the 1200s from my homeboy, my big homie Steve Dunbar. God rest his soul.
Okay, so 1 second. For all of those, I usually am talking about Detroit, but for all of those unfamiliar with hip hop, the preferred DJ turntable are Technique 1200s.
Yes, indeed.
Period.
Yes, indeed.
So like the vinyl, you'll probably see most DJs with real vinyl. I want some 12.
Exactly.
So they don't even say the model, but
exactly, man.
Model maker
Techniques 1200s, man. MK2s, man. Those is the deal. So I end up buying them, man. Look, them tables, man. Look, man. You be talking forever talking to me, man. But look, I'm gonna just tell you real quick. The tables came from Louisiana. My first turntables, right?
Wow.
Because my OG used to go to Southern, right? Southern University.
Okay.
So he came back from Southern and he had these 1200s, right? And he was like, man, I got these 12s for sale, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, how much? He like, shit, I'll sell them to you for 500. I'm like, 500? I'm like, nigga, I ain't got $500. You know what I'm saying? I'm like in the 10th grade. You know what I'm saying? 10th. Yeah, I'm like in the 10th grade.
And wait, and for all of you 10th graders
Maybe
right
11.
now, $500 is a lot even now. But you got to imagine what the value of $500 then.
Right.
80s.
In 1980, this is like 1984.
84, 500. If you do the equivalency and stuff, that'd almost be like getting, I don't know, maybe like 2,500 now. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, whoa, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah, you in the 10th grade. It's like, how you get $2,500?
Straight up, bro. Straight up, man. So I didn't have it at first, man. I started, you know what I'm saying, selling shit that I had, you know what I'm saying? Selling, like, I sold a leather jacket I had, I think. I sold my turntables to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And the crazy story, man, I don't know if you guys know a guy named Mike Move. Y'all know Mike Move from Conan Gardens? Yeah, that's my homeboy, man. And I know Mike Move because when I ended up selling those turntables, he bought one.
Hilarious. He bought one of the mixed match.
He bought one of them, yes. Not the mismatch, the 1200s.
The
1200s.
Oh, okay.
So when I ended up selling 12s, you know what I'm saying, after I had, you know what I'm saying, moved to the next level, I guess, in my career, I wasn't DJing too much no more.
So when you got the 12s,
once I got them.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe 5 years later, I ended up selling them to Mike Move.
Yep.
So shout out to Mike Move. But them 12s came from Louisiana. He brought them back. And they didn't have no chords. He was like, man, they don't got no chords, but, you know what I'm saying, all you got to do is just, just get some extension cords and wire them back up to the cord, you know what I'm saying, because the cords was cut. I was like, why the cords cut?
Oh, you know why.
Right? Where the cords at? He like, dog, that's why I'm selling them to you for $500. You know what I'm saying? Because they ain't got the cords, but, you know what I'm saying, all you got to do is this. And I was like, all right, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? I'll do it. But they had broke into a music store down there in Louisiana.
Well, clearly, it got boosted.
Boosted them boys, man.
That's beyond hip hop. His first tables was boosted tables.
Boosted, bro. Boosted and came all the way from the South, from Louisiana. Made their way to me, man. But
so with it, you spinning at the first time. And you doing a lot of parties, I'm guessing, high school parties.
Yeah.
You building your hip-hop repertoire. How do you end up from DJing to MCing?
Okay, so you know what I'm saying? I was still always writing lyrics down here and there, you know what I'm saying? And I was making beats. I had a couple drum machines, you know what I'm saying? Bought a little Boss drum machine. It was like this big, man. But it was nice, had a nice sound to it. And, you know what I'm saying? My other homeboy had this 808. I bought his little 80, not an 808, but it was like a 707 or something. And it was like a little silver rolling drum machine. And I bought that shit. And I used to, you know, just start making beats with them, you know what I'm saying? And then I started making beats for other rappers, you know? Because they'll be like, well, shit, we heard you, you know, you're a DJ and shit and this and that. And, you know, you got any beats? And I'm like, yeah, I had a couple drum patterns that I made, you know what I'm saying? I put some scratches in it, you know what I'm saying, and make a track for some of these cats. So
were you selling the tracks?
Man, I wasn't really selling them.
You was just trying to see hip hop get off.
Yeah, I was just doing it, you know what I'm saying?
I asked you that just because it's such a difference now in how people see what hip hop was versus where hip hop is. And I want people to know where hip hop isn't always what hip hop was. In the foundation, it was so much like a real click counterculture that everybody in it wanted to kind of, you knew the other people in it.
That's real. That's real.
So in it, are you in the studio or are you just making the tracks and y'all just freestyling over this stuff?
Kind of freestyling. People to just come to my house, you know what I'm saying? And I had like a little 4-track, you know. And
so you did have so for people that don't know this, I got to break this down. Also, music and hip-hop history. So I ended up, my first 4-track, actually, my first 4-track was from somebody that used to work with Dilla too. And he was like, yo, Dilla used to work with this one too. So as you learn about equipment passing in hip-hop circles. Absolutely. But a 4-track tape recorder is what I had, and this is what a lot of people had. So a 4-track tape recorder, for people that don't know, cassette tapes at one point in time that people used to listen to will also be what we would record on, a blank cassette tape. And a 4-track recorder would allow you to basically have 4 different tracks of something. So sometimes you could split the music left and right panels, so that would be track 1 and 2. And then you would put this is how I would do it. Split it 1 and 2. Then you would have verses on track 3.
Right.
And then you would have a hook on track 4.
Right.
So basically, we would have to sit and like you rap your verse, right? And you be like blah 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 blah. And then you sit blah da 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 da. And then you sit waiting on the hook and all of that stuff. So like you fill in the spot on the 4-track. But a 4-track tape recorder have laid for some of the greatest, not just demos, but albums, period. Like the grit of even like when we think of like Wu-Tang Clan's 36 Chambers.
Right.
The first copy of Boys in the Hood from Eazy and them. Like a lot of like in-your-face hip-hop. I want to say Ice-T's Ron Pays is like damn near so much of that is from there, and it transfers over for mastering. Mastering is the process of basically leveling out the sound so that it sounds very loud and good across all platforms of music that people may listen to. So I wanted to at least give some context to you had more equipment. So you add him to the mix. So now you got tables. Obviously, you got, what microphone did you have? And your dad may have had that upstairs in his studio.
Yeah, you know, Pops had a few things, man. Like I remember my first speakers that I would use was actually amps. You know what I'm saying? Like guitar amps, bass amps, and I just take them mugs to the
flip 'em.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I take those to the parties and use those for my sound system. You know what I'm saying? So, but the microphones, man, that was just like you know what I'm saying? Just like the
standard dynamic mic.
Yeah, the standard dynamic with the mic stand, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't a recording microphone. Okay. We wasn't to that level. We just
thinking like that.
Not even thinking like that. We just trying to get the voice onto the voice on the tape. And
when you guys got it on tape, you guys were just listening to it yourself, passing it out to friends. What were you doing with your with the music?
Man, you know what? I mean, like a lot of those guys that I made beats for and stuff, yeah, they'll just be, you know, taking them all around, showing them to their friends, and nobody at that time, this is 84, something like that. Nobody really put out a record at that time.
And that's the other thing for people to know. Like at the time, like even though, you know, you had Sugar Hill Gang, but that was still very unprecedented. Like, you know, when you look at the 50 years of hip hop anniversary, which goes further back, but like just the idea of making a hip hop record was just, you can do this, you know, so just people know.
You know what I'm saying? It was like, you know, even in New York, you know what I'm saying? A lot of those songs was just circulating. It wasn't like they tried to press them up on vinyl at first, you know. They was just circulating as tapes, you know. Busy Bee and those guys, you know, they just make and Cool Mo D and all of them, Treacherous 3, they was making music, and then it'd just get out like mixtapes, you know. And then you know, the best ones, somebody ended up pressing them up, you know what I'm saying? Marley Marl or somebody, you know, come to him like, look, we need to press this, you know, this will be a big record, could be, you know. So it was
you're in this mix. And then along this way, you end up actually moving towards a record and record deal and recording. What was the break to get you from this space of like your tapes passing around and them kind of knowing you as a DJ to hit, okay, I'm about to step in at MC?
Man, so it was a crazy little transition. So, you know, when I was DJing, I started making a little name for myself, you know what I'm saying? When I went to college.
Where did you go to college?
I went to Morehouse, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, when I graduated from high school, I went straight to Morehouse, you know, and I just went straight to DJing at Morehouse. Like, I'm DJing all the frat parties, you know, Kappas, Qs, Alphas. You know, I was getting paid, you know what I'm saying, DJing more than I was, like, paying attention to school, you know?
Did you do any of the Freakniks early on?
No, Freakniks hadn't happened yet.
Okay.
So Freaknik, I think, started maybe like about 90.
Well, it was happening beforehand, but it was as they say, it was the picnic for the people that didn't go back home during spring break.
Yeah, right. So I was gone by then, bro. I was there. So this was 86. I was there for one semester.
Oh, man.
At Morehouse.
Okay.
And, man, but I was getting money though, bro. You know what I'm saying? I was in that mug getting money, man. And
so we got to take a snapshot at time. What was 87 Atlanta like? I mean,
86.
86.
86
Atlanta. What's 86 Atlanta like Because I know that's Maynard Jackson time, but what was the feel and culture like for you on that? I mean, what is that? The AC3, like that campus.
Yeah, yeah.
What was that like?
So yeah, it was like Morris Brown, it was Clark University, Spelman,
Yep.
Morehouse. It was dope, man. It was like a crazy culture shock, you know what I'm saying? Nothing but black universities. But also, you know, you got the surrounding Atlanta residents that are right there with you. You know what I'm saying? Now, at the same time, you know what I'm saying? Some of these residents are not college students, most of them. You know
I assume this is where like that scene from School Days comes with Samuel Jackson.
Yeah, yeah. So we had a few of those, you know what I'm saying, situations where we was into it with the local, you know what I'm saying, people,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
They ain't give a fuck about, you know, you getting your education, dog. They didn't like you being in they neighborhood and their environment.
And also so people know Spelman and Morehouse and Clark, Morris, they're inside the city for real. They're like inner city Atlanta for real.
Exactly.
It's not like a lot of other colleges that are away and got like a lot of grant. No,
It ain't
inside
like
the
Oakland
city.
University or some shit like that, or you know,
It's in the city.
You right in the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? And that's the AU Center. You know, but I mean, it was a great experience, and you know, it was something that, you know what I'm saying, I wouldn't trade it for nothing, you know what I'm saying, having that opportunity.
And being the DJ, I assume everybody reached out to you like, oh, he got
Everybody,
the tables and he can do this.
Look, man, when I first got there, I had my 12s with me, you know what I'm saying? And my pops helped me build this cabinet for the 12s, you know what I'm saying? So I could just sit them up on some milk crates, and it was like a cabinet almost long as this table with the turntables, the mixer, you know what I'm saying? And it had a top on it, so you know what I'm saying? Everybody used to call it the coffin because it looked like it was black, shiny black, looked like kind of like a coffin, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, so when I first got there, one of the guys, one of the older classmen, you know, upperclassmen, he was from Detroit.
From the D, I'm guessing.
Yeah, he was from the D, and everybody knew him. And he was like, "Oh, you a DJ? Oh shit, we about to let everybody know." You know what I'm saying? So he started walking me through the whole campus like with a fucking bullhorn.
Hilarious.
Like this Amir, this my man Amir, you know what I'm saying? He the new DJ on campus. Everybody check him out. He the new DJ, and told him what dorm I was in and everything. Hey, then they start, all of the Kappas and, you know, Omegas and all of them start coming knocking on my door like, man, you DJ, man, we need a DJ. I'm like, yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Well, you basically your semester at Morehouse was you DJing more so than being in class. You was like, class. What?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I wasn't skipping class. I was in there, but mentally I wasn't there.
Presence of mind wasn't there.
And it wasn't school. You know what I'm saying? School was really cool. You know what I'm saying? I was learning a lot. I had great instructors. You know what I'm saying? Black teachers, man. They was beautiful, bro. They didn't want me to leave. Like, you know, I kind of made an excuse to leave. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you know, my financial aid kind of got messed up. But they was like,
we can work something out.
Exactly. We'll work it out. Just don't go. Don't leave. And I'm like, all right, well, let me think about it. I'm like calling Pops like, Dad, come get me.
Hilarious.
Swoop me up, bro. I'm like, I got to go because it was just it wasn't my style down there for real, bro. And look, man, you know what I'm saying? I got to be honest, like, it was a lot of gay shit going on down there, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, hey, man, to each his own. But, hey, they was deep, though. Deep, like, you know what I'm saying? Like parades of them, you know what I'm saying? Before the first gay parade you ever heard of, Atlanta had gay, like, deep, like, armies of gay people.
So
bro.
it felt like you was like, okay, this culture is a lot for where you were coming from.
Local people that wasn't gay, you know what I'm saying? We'd see them up in the strip clubs. We used to go to the strip club up there, Montrey's, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Montrey. And, you know what I'm saying? We come out, bro, and damn, you damn near got to fight niggas, bro. Like, they're like, nigga, y'all niggas go to, y'all them college boys, huh? You know what I'm saying? So we was always into it. And I'm like, bro, this shit is lame. You know what I'm saying?
So
like,
it just was something that, not a vibe, your presence of mind.
It wasn't my vibe,
So
bro.
you come back to the crib.
Yeah, came back here. And look, so I'm still DJing when I get back here. And, man, I ended up doing a DJ battle, you know what I'm saying, on Mojo. So I was on Mojo's show, man. He had a show called the Mixer Dome. right? And he had two DJs, you know what I'm saying, come up to the station and play their pre-made mix, you know what I'm saying? And then people will call in and, you know, had to get the most votes and whatever, you know. And so shit, I was on there, man. I ended up battling, you know what I'm saying, one of my mentors, man, this DJ named Alan Esther, man. Shout out to Al Esther, you know what I'm saying? The GOAT, you know. But man, I ended up battling Al Esther, man, and you know, it was an outcome that was unexpected. That's all I'm gonna say. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So, but after that, bro, I was really more into getting my rap career going at that point. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of really where hip hop kind of took the wheel for me. You know, I did go to another college. I went to another black college, Wilberforce University in Ohio.
Ohio, yeah.
And I went there for a little while, and, you know, when I was there, I started really rapping, and, you know what I'm saying, I was doing, like, little shows in the Commons and stuff like that. People was responsive, and I'm out there, I'm at the forest, you know, making demos of myself, you know what I'm saying, now. And so demos was sounding like fire, you know what I'm saying? Everybody was loving the shit, and they was loving the performance. So I'm sending my tapes out to all of the record labels, you know? While I'm at college, I'm shooting my tape out to, you know what I'm saying, Sony, MCA, you know what I'm saying, Def Jam. Crazy thing is, I was getting replies. I'm getting letters back from them, you know? Now, some of the letters are saying, most of the letters are saying, you know what I'm saying, well, we appreciate you sending a demo. Right now, you know, so we got this such and such roster.
Blah, blah, blah,
yeah, and they saying the people that's on the label and stuff, and, you know, we're tied up with these people, but, you know, don't stop sending your music in and this and that. It was kind of encouraging. And it was kind of just like crazy, like, damn, I just got a letter from, you know, Polygram or somebody, you know what I'm saying? And they actually replied. So it made me feel like, it ain't hard. It ain't that hard to get into this industry and to you know, to get involved in it. So that was an inspiration to me, and you know what I'm saying, I just kept going. So when I came back, I started recording an album, and that was the album that had A Day Without a Rhyme on it. You know
so A Day Without a Rhyme, one of the first like lyrical rap like hits that stands in time for Detroit. What was it like recording it? What made you say, okay, this is going to be our single? And then how did you go about getting a deal for it? Wow, well, you know what I'm saying? So that's not exactly how it happened, you know what I'm saying? Okay, all right. But all of those things are, you know what I'm saying, relevant questions. But how it ended up happening was basically we recorded like all of these songs, and then A Day Without a Rhyme was like one of the last songs that I had recorded, right? And at that point, you know, me and my guy who was basically financing it, you know what I'm saying, which was my little homie, you know what I'm saying, God rest his soul, Nick Smooth, man, that was my baby bro, you know what I'm saying, but he was getting money. You know what I'm saying? He was getting to it out in the D. So, yeah. You know, so he was, you know, he wanted to see the records happen. And we had a kind of an agreement, like we were going to set up this company, and it was going to be, it wasn't like I was just the artist on the company. I was like a, you know what I'm saying, partner. Kind of like a lot of rap deals start off, like where you would be a partner because you know more of the music. He kind of comes in with financial backing, right. Like a starter like Rockefeller in a sense. Exactly. Exactly, man. And so we were supposed to be like the first Rockefeller, you know what I'm saying, to my knowledge. But, you know, people start telling him this and that. You pay for it, you know what I'm saying? This show company, he just an artist and this and that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, bro, I'm doing all the work. Like, you just come in and bring the money, bro. I'm spending all my time in the studio, you know what I'm saying, recording all these songs and stuff. But I'm not, I'm not knocking him. And let me stop you here and just give one of my Kari business lessons. Yeah. Like, especially like when you're younger, or maybe not even younger, when you're in a business position where you haven't done a lot of business, the idea of the bank, or whoever is providing lending becomes very valuable. Right. The reality of the person lending having more value than the person that has the other resources hence, that's what makes money such a depreciating asset. And I know somebody watching right now is saying to themselves, like, well, yeah, that'd be said by somebody that ain't got a lot of money.
Right.
I'm speaking to you from a business sense, meaning that, like, let's say me and Mersiless Amir go into let's make a basic business, opening up a pizzeria, right?
Okay, for sure.
And he finds the location. He finds the staff, he finds the ingredients, he's willing to work, he staffs out the place, and he turns around and says, hey, Kari, I need $5 million to make this happen. And I say, guess what? I'm going to give you 6.
Yeah.
Now, and I can teach y'all a little bit about record business too with this analogy as well. Now, technically, one would think that, okay, as they make back that $6 million, the main goal should be for Kari to get back his $6 million so I can turn around and make a profit. Mm-hmm. No. Mm-hmm. The investment I'm making is the $6 million. I could lose everything.
True.
Right? So technically now we have to depreciate the asset of the loan that was given over a span of time so the business can become functional and successful. And probably what's going to end up happening really is the business becomes successful, they're going to find another loan to buy me out of my loan, and then I will get paid. Now, this is where I think business functions well. Where it doesn't function well is if you're doing it and it feels as though it's more like a hustle. Right. And I've talked about this before. A business is a long-term investment where a plan is made where you're going to make money back. A hustle is I want to make back as much money possible as soon as I possibly can.
Exactly.
So hence, a hustler will make $100,000 on Thursday, right, and then on Saturday they will be outside at the Michigan game scalping tickets because it's like I got to make cash no matter what. They have a baseline of how I got to make money every day all the time. So it's hard to be in business with people that have like a hustle mentality. Being black in business, you kind of always need a little bit of a hustle mentality because cash is so scarce in our community and so needed. So it can cause different problems. So I want to lay this out for you all. If a person puts the investment in, you have to know that the investment is not the only thing you can focus on paying out because you got to pay staff, you got to pay for materials, you got to pay yourself, you got to pay bills, you got to pay back taxes, you got to have money for unexpecteds. Like, this is how you function in business. And if you're just focusing on paying back that person, then you're going to go out of money and that person won't get their investment back too. So my bad. I want to frame that for people because sometimes I think we can overvalue what the bank can be because we think that bank is so important. And I'm not saying bank ain't important, but cash is just as much of an asset in that pizzeria as having cheese, as having a oven, as having a staff, as having the tomato sauce. And I know it's like, money is as valuable as tomato sauce. It is. It is a resource in business, not the goal per se. It is profit. And the way you make profit, and I'm talking about not gross profit, meaning all money that comes in. The way to make net profit is you need a functioning business that goes. And part of that functioning business is an investment. So I just wanted to lay that out for you.
That part.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so, so that just, that's well said. And, I think that will be useful for a lot of people. Hopefully, a lot of people is going to see this interview because, that's one thing that we struggle with in our business, in my family's business, like being black and trying to get those loans from the bank. Now, what I'm saying, Pops made, my Pops made $1 million one year. Moms and Pops made $1 million one year with our businesses. We had the store in Ann Arbor, and then they opened up another store on 9 Mile Road. It was an Army surplus store. So they was doing very well, right? Yeah. Hey, we go to the bank, you know what I'm saying? He tried to get a loan. They're like, well, you know what I'm saying, what collateral do you have? Hey, they got this house in Sherwood Forest. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Hey, that was major collateral. That was at the time, you know what I'm saying, probably, this is the 80s, 81 or something like that. Yeah. The house is probably worth $150,000, something like that.
Equivalency of today, I mean, you're probably looking at like maybe $600,000.
Most definitely. Most definitely now. Mm-hmm. But you know what I'm saying? That was a lot right then to be able to have as collateral.
Most definitely.
Hey, they told my man, no can do. Yeah. No dice. You know what I'm saying? But the people down the street, I don't know if you remember, it was a record store on 9 Mile called Sam's Jams that a lot of people used to go to. You know what I'm saying? Jewish guy. He was a friend of my father's. You know what I'm saying? He told my dad, hey, look, bank just gave me $150,000 for like 3 seasons. You know what I'm saying? To
Like
stock
that.
for
And
3
and
seasons.
those lines of credit that are given, and this is also so people can understand. And me being from a family of entrepreneurs too. Shout out to
Okay,
my
for
dad
sure.
and my granddad and my
sure.
mama and my grandma.
All right.
But
Shout out.
but this is why, like I say, in black business, it kind of aligns with hustling. This is why a lot of black businesses wouldn't have been in business without, as they call it, the policy games or the street numbers that lent money to black businesses
Right.
originally for so long and really built even Black Wall Street and so much. And then, as I say, the black collar industry, where it's like, street business does go into a lot of black business because banks have historically been racist against black business owners, period, per capita. They talk about it in home ownership all the time, like where if you want to sell a house, you better take all them pictures of them black people down. If you want to get that house appraised and everything.
That's right.
Because these are the things that function and the realities that have to go. So when you're in business and you black, it's going to be a little bit of hustle into the business just due to we are not able to function the same way. Just the machine ain't built for us.
Not at all.
So within this, you in this partnership.
Yeah.
You got the album going.
Right.
You got a partner that's a little antsy on getting their money back because that's really what it comes down to. And in that antsiness, you got terms, and y'all all young people too, and you dealing with dudes, the machismo. I can only imagine the testosterone.
Yeah, look, it was like this, man. It was like, he was my guy, but he wanted to. I mean, he was told by people, hey, listen, this is how the industry goes. This is how music business is. You know what I'm saying? You this guy, you the financier, and he's the artist. Boom, that's it.
Yeah.
And that's all he, wanted to consider. And, hey, I get it, but I couldn't roll with it. You know what I'm saying? So at that point, I'm just like, well, listen, man, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to just fall back for a minute. And none of the music had came out yet.
Wow.
Right?
So you just sat back and said, hey,
yeah,
it's best. And then that's another thing that a great business lesson. Sometimes when it seems as though you have irreconcilable differences,
right,
it's best to just be the person to say to walk away. I mean, we see it play out between Dr. Dre and Suge Knight, and I'm not exalting one and diminishing another, but we see it with Jay-Z and Rockefeller. Like it happens a lot where it's like, you know what? All right, if this is what's happening, I'd rather walk away from the table.
Exactly, man. You know what I'm saying? So that's what happened. But what happened next was, you know what I'm saying, maybe a couple months later, I'd say about 60 days later, DJ Maestro called me, you know what I'm saying, from Chaos and Maestro. Shout out to Jason, you know what I'm saying, Jason Wilson and Chaos. But, he called me up and he was like, hey, check this out, Amir. And I was like, what's up? He's scratching in the background. A day without a rhyme. So he was scratching a day without a rhyme. I was like, oh man, that's dope. I was like, how you do that? He was like, I just bought the record from Byright.
Wow.
I was like, what?
Shout out Cliff and Byright.
Yeah, shout out to Cliff. Absolutely, bro.
7 Mile.
Absolutely.
Shout out Cliff.
Oh man, that was my man Cliff, man. I bought so many records from him, but yeah, man. He was scratching the record. He said he just bought it from Byright. I was like, what?
So basically the partner still released it. And that happens a lot of times too. Rest in peace, Orthea Barnes, my godmother. A lot of her records were re-released over time, and her brother. So you just it happens.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
You just roll with it.
They dropped it. And without you knowing, really.
Not at all.
So you go up there like, nah, I gotta see what they do on my album cover, you know?
Exactly, dog. So I went straight to Byright. You know what I'm saying? Bought a few copies
like, Cliff,
of it.
What up?
Yeah, Cliff, this my shit, bro. Yeah. He like, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? And it was after that, it was just crazy. I bought the record, and I ain't even talked to my man that put it out. I ain't call him up or nothing. I'm like, see, this how business.
You talk to your mom and dad. Just business so long. What was their take?
Look, me and my moms, you know what I'm saying, talked to my man Nick. You know what I'm saying. We all had to sit down in my living room, and Nick was like, "Man, I ain't got my mom here."
Hilarious.
And I was like, man, you at my house, you know what I'm saying? Mom's got something she want to say about it, you know what I'm saying? Like, cause she know you know what I'm saying? We all know each other. And he like, well, I think it should be this way and this. And I'm like, man, I can't roll with that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not just about to take a little, you know what I'm saying, 10% or a point, you know what I'm saying, on the fucking record, bro. Like, what? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So then he like, all right, well, so then Day Without a Rhyme comes out, it starts blowing up. You know what I'm saying? It starts taking off. You know, and labels start calling the number on the record. You know what I'm saying? Which is his number. You know, he's got his number on there, his address on there, which I thought it was a bad idea to have his address on there and everything because he's out in the streets doing his thing. But, you know what I'm saying? At this point, I'm just like, hey, you just got to do what you got to do, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Because he's looking to recoup his money.
Yeah, exactly. But he's also
starting a business too.
Yeah, he's starting a business. He signed a couple other artists, and but A Day Without a Rhyme was the catalyst.
And let me give this lesson for a lot of people too, because I've been in this position too. When you are looking to be bank and start something in music, because there's so many different people that's like, man, my brother's real talented at rapping, or my sister's real talented at singing, or whatever it may be. You're thinking, okay, now I want to get in the industry from like an executive standpoint.
Sure.
The power dynamic of music, like I often say when people ask me, why don't I do a lot of music anymore? It's like, because I feel like artists get paid at the back end.
Yeah.
But when it's building up, as a person putting it out, it's tough. This is the Berry Gordy argument, as he says, for a lot of artists. And as the person that's been in the position like Berry Gordy, it's tough. Because you're going to put the money up. You're going to help get the shows. You're going to help do the photography. You're going to help get in the studio. You're going to help get the producers. You're going to help with so much to create this package. Right. And at the end of the day, what you still need the artist to say yes at the end of the day. Because to do a show, to do another song, to do a remix.
Right.
You know, like,
exactly.
I mean, Coachella had hologram Pac, but I can tell you this. That's the reason why we ain't seen no more hologram shows since.
That's real.
You need the artist to be there.
Right.
So he's getting the calls, and I know naturally he's going to have to, like, that sit down in the house with moms.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure he's backpedaling a lot of things said from that point in time. Because now it's like, to make my next move, I need Mersiless Amir.
Exactly. So he's hitting me, you know what I'm saying? He calling my phone like, you know what I'm saying, clockwork. Sometimes I'm answering, sometimes I'm not. But then he hits me up. He's like, bro, you know what I'm saying? These labels is calling and shit. He was like, why don't you just come get this money, man? Come get this 20 grand, right? Shit, my nigga, I'm broke at the time. You know what I'm saying?
And also, back to another cash equivalency thing, too. This is 80 what?
This is 89. This
so
is
89, 20K and 89. 20K right now, I want to get my hands on
20K right now.
20K and 89, that's
good look.
That's feeling like 50.
Right. And A Day Without a Rhyme is selling records. Like, it's selling because, you know, we got Marvelous Marv playing it on the radio every morning. You know what I'm saying? So that's why everybody remembers the song, because they going to school with it. You know what I'm saying? Every day for about 6-8 months or something. It was like, if this was Billboard shit, we would have had a hot 100 record, you know what I'm saying, for 16, 20 weeks or something, you know?
And the person that runs the label and the artist, and this happens a lot of times, aren't even on the same page.
Are not on the same page.
And he's pump faking with them as they talking about, hey, we want to talk to Mersiless Amir. And he like, he is in the living room. Hold on. Let me call you right back.
Right,
like,
right.
Man, you want to get this shit for real.
Right. Straight up, man. You know, he calling me, offering me money and telling me to come get the money and telling me MCA want to sign you and this and that. And I'm like, okay, but, you know what I'm saying, tell him to call me. Give him my number. He won't do it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, well.
He's thinking he going to get cut out the deal.
Right.
Because of the first deal in the first place.
Right. So it didn't happen. I didn't go get the money. You know what I'm saying? I'm concerned with his, you know, with his lifestyle.
The way of this whole thing going down right now, too, because also the classic Master P. You know, when he went into the record label and they offered him $1 million and he didn't take it, and then C Murder was like, C Murder, Master P's brother, is like, you sound crazy. He was like, well, if they offering us $1 million, that means we got to be worth at least 20.
Right.
That's another business lesson. If they're offering you 20 stacks, that means it's probably a whole lot more, especially when if the business ain't on up and up ground.
Exactly. So if they was he about to give me 20 grand, they was probably about to give him 80 grand. Yeah, 80, 100. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, nah, we can't do it like that. But, you know, after that, it was just like
eventually they end up getting over to you, I'm guessing.
Well, yeah, but nah, not really, not right away. You know what I'm saying?
How did you end up connecting?
I mean, I didn't end up connecting with MCA at the time or any of them labels at that time. You know what I'm saying? Later, I got a record deal. You know what I'm saying? Later, I did end up signing with Polygram. You know what I'm saying? I had a great deal with Polygram. But, you know what I'm saying? At that time, man, I was about to tell you something like, so things didn't work out, but my record was blowing up so large in Detroit. Like, you guys probably know a rapper named Beretta.
Yeah.
So Beretta just told me this about 2 months ago. Actually, we was at
Raw Collection. Shout out Beretta and Red
shout out Beretta.
Yeah.
Redbone. Yes, for sure. Mm-hmm. But you know what I'm saying? We was at Shell funeral. You know what I'm saying? Pass for Boss. You know what I'm saying? God rest Boss soul. You know what I'm saying? And we miss her, but my man told me at the repass, you know what I'm saying, we was at the locker room, he's like, man, Merciless, man, I remember it was like 89, we went to Def Jam trying to get a deal, right? We went to New York, go up to Def Jam, and we in Def Jam talking to the A&R people, talking to the executives, and they like, so where you from? And Beretta said, we was like, shit, we from Detroit. Mm-hmm. And they was like, you from Detroit? Okay, so Detroit is Mersiless Amir.
Hilarious.
Yeah, Detroit is Mersiless Amir. So y'all know Mersiless Amir. And they was like, of course, you know what I'm saying? We know who he is, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And, you know, because I didn't know them back at the time, but they were like, yeah, of course we know Mersiless Amir. They were out around. And they was like, so Detroit is all Mersiless Amir. Y'all know that, right? And this is what Beretta's telling me. And I'm like, bro, I ain't never know that. You know what I'm saying? But I did know, and I did talk to Leor Cohen back then, you know what I'm saying? And Leor wanted to sign me to Def Jam, you know, and they wanted me to move to Brooklyn, you know. But, you know, the managers I had at the time didn't necessarily want me to move to Brooklyn, didn't want me to, you know, didn't necessarily want that move to happen because then that's kind of, you know what I'm saying, taking me out of there,
so,
you know,
so you guys kind of
realm.
So I'm guessing after this goes on, you obviously get some management. You're able to perform. How did I gotta ask this because the label and it's still your song. They released this, but how did the licensing work out? And wait, let me also get this. Okay, it's a belief that street business is very included in rap music. Okay, let me be honest with you. Street business is included in all music. And when I say all music, I mean all music. And bro, so like going back to like when people talk about like Frank Sinatra and the Genovese and all of this, like where there's a lot of cash,
bro,
street business is usually connected because of high cash means high ways to put a lot of cash and just period. Entertainment and street business are very interconnected. So I want to highlight that. So. And early on hip hop, and even to this day, like it's always like some type of connection to usually like through somebody and cleaning up things. This was very much highlighted in like these cases where Carl Crawford, the baseball player, was one of the early investors into Meg Thee Stallion's career. And then they're like, wow, like to get her out, it was like all of these other, you know, like underground street labels that you're paying this person, paying that person, just because, you know, it takes a lot of time to clean up. And then back to like you need a large amount of cash to uplift a lot of these projects. So I just want to clear this up. So early on, I do got to ask if you're performing this record, are they like, okay, you can go out and perform it? And like, how did you perform a record and you on the label, but you kind of not on the label? You know what I'm saying? How did that work out and get management and all of that too?
Yeah, no, I was not on the label, but my record was obviously out on that label. You know what I'm saying? But I was not signed to the label or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? We had no kind of agreement. No agreement.
But you would still take it and be like, I'm about to rock this.
Of course, it's my shit.
And you run for all artists, especially rappers, when you do that, you run the risk of needing a crew with hands because
yeah, well,
I'm just laying that out there for artists that are thinking, you know,
that's possible. You know, you could get if you get into some, you know, situations like that where, you know, it's a major conflict. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? But I didn't have that. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have that.
And that's good.
Type
That's
of
good.
scenario.
That's good. I just want to lay
Yeah.
that out there. So you're performing, you end up with management, you're offered a couple deals. Polygram is the one you take. Why Polygram?
Polygram was it was a big look, man. It was like that was actually in London. You know what I'm saying? And so I had actually, like I mentioned before, I had done some songs with Grandmaster Flash. You know,
Uh-huh.
and one of the songs that I did with Flash was the song that got their attention. It was a group called Us Three. You remember that group called Us Three?
Us Three.
They was on Blue Note.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Blue Note. It was kind of jazzy vibe. They had a
Yeah.
song called Cantaloupe, right? And so at first, one of the artists in Us Three was leaving. Actually, the lead rapper in Us Three was like having some trouble. You know what I'm saying? He was getting in trouble on the road and stuff, on tours and stuff. And they was trying to replace dude. You know what I'm saying? So they talked to me. They wanted me to replace him for a minute. I was like, you know what I'm saying? I got to rap his songs and this and that. And they was like, well, yeah, would you mind? I was like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I got my own songs I write and everything. You know, I don't really want to do that. You know what I'm saying? And then they was like, well, I tell you what, you know what I'm saying? They like my shit so much. They was like, well, we just going to get a deal. You know what I'm saying? We'll get another deal for you and shit. And, you know, that's what ended up happening. I started going to London and recording records, recording music with a guy named Mel Simpson. He was the producer of Us Three.
Let me ask you this, too, because we often hear these stories, even when Jay-Z went overseas to London with Jazz-O early and a lot of acts just early on. Why were labels so insistent on you working with producers that they set up as opposed to artists just working? Like today, so much is independent. Like keep the same formula, keep going. Like shout out to Darius Quince doing a lot of music with Big Lotto and everything, and keeping things going with Light Skin Keisha and all of them. So that's a key player. They used to play keys with us. You know what I'm saying? He doing his thing, but that happens now. Why didn't labels back then usually say like, "Yo, I do my own production and I could get in the studio myself"? What do you think was the big difference?
I mean, you know, back then, I mean, they just wanted to keep all the money in house. You know what I'm saying? They, you know, they got their producers, and so they're keeping all the budget. You know what I'm saying? In their backyard. You know, and so
you could be sitting in a session like, yo, I could do this way better.
Right.
But you just have to.
Yeah, but you just gotta, you know what I'm saying? You just gotta make the most of it. Yeah, until you're in a position that you can negotiate what you want. You know what I'm saying? Because that eventually happens. Usually, if you got that talent and you can actually produce something that sound hot, you know what I'm saying, you'll end up doing it. But at first, they want to keep it all in house and keep it, you know, with a hit maker that they
consider will work. Yeah,
somebody that already had a hit. You know, you probably ain't gonna really be like, nah, I don't want. You know what I'm saying? I don't want that person to do my song unless you just don't like them for some, never liked that producer, you know, but, you know, I think that's subjective. But the guy, it wasn't the label that said, we want you to work with this producer, because I met the producer first, and then he took my music to the label, and that's how I got that deal.
Okay, all right.
You know,
so from there, this album, and I know I'm fast forwarding as we get into a close, I'm going to have to bring you back because there's so many things to fill in.
Yeah, man.
Now, I mean, you got to tell the Dick Griffey story.
Okay.
And then that connection to Solar Records. Solar Records is definitely like, as Motown is going out to LA, like in the same vein of Motown going to LA, more so for the film. A lot of studios and a lot of that relationships, and even like Rick Ross, Freeway Rick Ross says like, yeah, I put in on Anita Baker first album, and all these different connections with Chapter 8 and all of this stuff. You got Dick Griffey that's standing there as a way ushering in more of this relationship with a lot of these Detroit acts that are there, and even Clay McMurray I remember Clay. So Clay, rest in peace, Clay.
Who is Clay? Who was Clay?
Clay is the father of Nikki Gilbert from Brownstone. But
Oh, wow.
I've worked with Clay.
I
But
was just
Clay
talking
was
about
out there.
Nikki Gilbert from Brownstone, from Detroit.
Yep. And Clay is out there with Norman Whitfield.
Man,
not
listen,
everybody from
God rest his
Motown
soul,
made that
Norman.
transition.
Man, that's one of my favorite producers of all time. Shout out to Norman Whitfield. And, you know what I'm saying, just a quick transition. I don't know if you saw my last video. It was a song called So Far Away with the rapper Young Trey from L.A. Yeah, and that was, we was rapping to Love Don't Live Here Anymore. Norman Whitfield production.
And that was when he went out there with his partner, and I met Norman, rest in peace, through Clay, because Clay and Norman, Clay wrote "If I Were Your Woman" for Gladys Knight and the Pips, and produced that. And he was a good friend of Norman. And when Norman went out there with his label, hence, and all of this stuff kind of goes in that Dick Griffey, but like that black LA of the late 70s through the 80s era, and they're out there kind of doing their thing creatively. He's one that, because Rolls Royce was one of their big acts.
Big, huge.
Undisputed Truth and a couple other...
Listen, I met the Undisputed Truth at the NAMM show about 2-3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, bro, shout out, man. I was like, bro, I got y'all music on my phone right now. You know what I'm saying? And I got a chance to kick it with them and take pictures with them. And, you know, but I worked with Norman in the studio in probably like 2002, something like that. And we was working with David Ruffin Jr., my guy, D. Ruff. And, you know what I'm saying, Norman was in there. Norman was giving David a hard time, you know. David's a great singer, songwriter. Norman's just, you know, Norman's just the GOAT.
Norman's
you know
a perfectionist. Where, you know, he was a perfectionist.
Perfectionist, bro. He was man, he's one of the greatest, bro. And he told me in the studio that day, and I was reminded of this by Young Trey, because Young Trey worked with him too. So I didn't know Young Trey worked with him, but I chose this song. I wanted to make it a dedication to Norman. You know what I'm saying? When I redid that Love Don't Live Here Anymore. And I wanted to make it something that, you know what I'm saying, that he would be proud of if he heard it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Transitioning into the hip hop genre with his one of his classics, you know. But Young Trey told me, he was like, man, I worked with Norman Whitfield. We was at this studio, and I was like, wait a minute, that's the studio I was at when I met him, where I met him at. You know what I'm saying? He was like, that was in such and such year. And he was like, he told me, young brother, I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, you got it. And I was like, bro, he said that to me. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like, and this is when me and Trey was on our way to shoot the video together. You know what I'm saying? And so we connected like that, and we was just like, bro, we family, bro. You know what I'm saying?
I love it. And it's a cool, I love the way y'all flipped it. Dope song. I'm going to definitely connect that so people can check it.
For sure.
But I definitely want to hear some of the Solar stories, because, and then also the other connection between Solar is, as much as it's working with a lot of the Motown people and picking up gigs, it also is the start of where Death Row starts in their studios before they have a studio, as they're making the Deep Cover soundtrack and so much else, like just the interconnections, you know. And you mentioned T Money Green, but always like Butch, you know, that's like my OG
Butch
too.
as well.
But let me go. Yo Solar.
Well, you know what I'm saying, before I moved out to Cali, you know what I'm saying, and we were shopping my music around. A friend of mine, you know what I'm saying, really, he was an associate, Herb Jordan. This guy's an attorney from Detroit. He live out in L.A., and he took it to Solar. He took it to Dick Griffey. You know what I'm saying? Dick Griffey heard my demo, and he loved it, and he said he wanted to sign me, offered us a contract. You know what I'm saying? But my managers at the time was all attorneys. You know what I'm saying? And so Herb told, you know what I'm saying, the attorney here, which was Cornelius Pitts. You guys heard of
Mr. man, Pitts? For real, Mr. Pitts?
Mr. Pitts. That's my godfather, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And so, you know, so shout out to Mr. Pitts, and shout out to Byron Pitts and Herb and Wright Blake, the whole, you know what I'm saying, the whole Pitts law firm. But man, Herb had to tell Mr. Pitts, like, okay, you know what I'm saying, this is Solar, you know, Sounds of Los Angeles, they got a lot of hit records, but, you know what I'm saying, a lot of people say that he robbed them, you know what I'm saying, and he, you know, and Mr. Pitts was like, oh, well, we ain't signing nothing with him, and I was like, you sure, because that's Solar, you know what I'm saying, this is Solar Records. Like, them niggas be on Soul Train all the time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is Babyface. This is like everybody, The Deal. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you sure? And he was like, absolutely not. We not signing a deal with them. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, damn. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, fuck it. I want to sign with Solar.
Hilarious.
But he was like, nah, man. He was like, Mir, man, look, you know, I'm a criminal defense attorney. He was like, criminals don't change you know what I'm saying, they habits. You know what I'm saying? Not gonna change it for you. You know what I'm saying? He do what he do, and that's how he get down.
Now that leads to a classic. Man, Cornelius Pitts is like a legend in Detroit. Yeah. Talk about how he ended up being your in management with you, and talk about when you first met him, because I gotta hear that story.
Mr. Pitts, man, the GOAT, man. I just call him the GOAT, man. He just had a birthday. Happy birthday to Mr. Pitts. And man, I met him through Dennis Archer Jr. You know what I'm saying? That's my bro. That's my brother. You know what I'm saying? And Dennis was trying to just connect me with, you know, whoever he felt could help me in my career at the time. And this was probably about 94, something like that, 94, 95. So, yeah, like 94, late 94. But, you know, he was just trying to make me, you know, make people aware of me and what I was doing, my talent and whatever. So, you know, he introduced me to Mr. Pitts. And Mr. Pitts was just, you know, he was just really excited, you know what I'm saying, about my music and everything and about what I was doing. And, hey, he gave me bread to just go to the records, not the record store, but the music store, and buy some new equipment. Wow. You know what I'm saying? I bought an ASR 10. I bought a Mac, you know what I'm saying, with what was like the Vision software. It was like Opcode Vision was like the latest, like kind of like Pro Tools at the time, you know what I'm saying? So now I got a Mac, now I got an ASR 10, then I got like an 8-track or something, you know what I'm saying? Stepped it up a little bit, you know, and you know, I'm producing all of this stuff with this equipment, and you know, and I'm making new demos and things, right?
And this is what's so unique about your story that I didn't even tie together until this interview. Yeah. You, similar to the project that just was released through DJ Quick and Jason Martin, you've been an engineer your whole time in this too. So like your love for this, and then our connection to our homie Sterling during this whole interview,
for sure,
is not just from a rapper lens. You're in production. Man. You're in engineering, so you're seeing and hearing the whole vision of a song differently. And I'm not necessarily saying that this should admonish a person that MCs or just producers or just engineers, but it's different when you can see the whole picture.
Yeah, the whole scope. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I remember one time Billy T was over my house, right?
Yeah.
DJ Billy T, shout out to Billy T and TJ. But Billy T was at my crib one time, and I'm making a beat for some young rappers that was over my house, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, Billy T was just chilling, you know what I'm saying? We all chilling, you know what I'm saying? They writing their raps, and they just hear the drum beat going, and you know, shortly after that, you know, it just had the music was done. The music was there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I know to them it sounded like, you know, I just probably put a record on, and how about this, you know? Yeah. But I had just put all of these sections together, strings and basses and drums, and made a nice little beat. And Billy T was like, where this come from? You just did this right now? And hilarious. I was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah.
Hilarious.
And I'm telling them, go ahead, you know what I'm saying? Put your verse together, you know what I'm saying? It was my man Sharut and Muggsy Fiend, man, my little homies, man.
Okay.
And, you know what I'm saying? Billy was just like, damn, nigga, like, how the fuck you just came up with this song right now? You know what I'm saying? But that, to me, that made me feel real good. Like, man, you know, to the point where it was a song that I just created, and he thought it was something that was already done, and I got it from somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
So, all right, I got one more question before I want to ask more about the new project.
Yeah.
The other thing, shout out to Furry, Chaos from Chaos.
Chaos, to Furry Brent. He on my new record.
I love. Oh, I know he love that.
He on the new record, sir.
I know he love. I swear, I'm gonna dust off the dust, and he gonna be on something I do.
Okay, that's what's up.
But he said his favorite venue was a venue that wasn't even open that long.
Okay,
and it was a partnership with, I think, John Sally, your dad, and something else, like a venue for hip hop.
Right.
Can you talk about this space, like on Livernois
Absolutely.
in like near 6 Mile, you said?
Yeah, 6 Mile Livernois. You know what I'm saying? Look, first, when we first started it, it was called the Habitat. It was called the Hip Hop Habitat. I named it the Hip Hop Habitat. I wanted it to be a, you know what I'm saying, a collective little place where hip hop people could gather. You know what I'm saying? We playing real hip hop because Detroit was all about techno. It was all about house and stuff. You know what I'm saying? And you know, I used to DJ house and stuff and techno. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Juan Atkins, the GOAT again, and all of those guys that, you know what I'm saying, made techno famous worldwide. But you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I wanted to bring a hip hop element to Detroit, and so my father had this building that it was like a huge building, bro. It had 10,000 square feet upstairs on the second level. On the first level, we had like kind of like a flea market down there. You know what I'm saying? Like just a whole bunch of vendors inside selling all of their different things. You know, T-shirts and you know whatever they had, whatever they was doing, but. Had this store upstairs. I mean, this space upstairs, and it was just monumental, bro. But you know what I'm saying, it was gonna be expensive to really get it started,
to renovate and everything.
To renovate.
So your dad is like, look, I'll give you the keys.
Yeah.
But y'all got to get it active.
Right.
And he says like the partners were Maestro and like John Sally, because John Sally, I don't know if people know, along with being like one of the most charismatic Detroit Pistons of that Bad Boys era to like storytelling and everything.
Right.
Hip hop was, and his label was something that was kind of brewing up at one point in time.
Yeah, absolutely. John Sally, shout out to John Sally. That's my man. You know what I'm saying? Hey, he tried to sign me to his label back in them days, man. You know, that didn't work out either. But you know what I'm saying? That's all right. We went on to do greater things. Yeah. And I actually produced his daughter's first demo, man, in L.A. His daughter's name is Giovanna Sally. Shout out to Giovanna. She's a great singer. And he gave me the opportunity to produce her first demo for her. And but here in Detroit, you know what I'm saying, Maestro introduced me to Sally. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, told him that, you know, we got this space because I was doing these little hip-hop events in the space. The Habitat.
It was more like pop-up.
Yeah, kind of like pop-up, but it was like, you know, it wasn't really as developed as we ended up developing it when John got on board, you know what I'm saying? So, and the crazy thing is, like, one day, at first John was like, yeah, well, I don't know about it, I don't think I'm interested, right? And then one day I seen him at this hobby shop out on like 13 Mile and Woodward, you know what I'm saying? It was a hobby shop, like model trains and shit like that, and I'm going in there, you know what I'm saying, because I like comic books and shit like that too, you know. So he in there with his little daughter. It was Giovanna at the time. She like 5 years old, and I was like, hey, what's up, John? How you doing, man? And he was like, I'm chilling. What's up? And I was like, shit, you know what I'm saying, just doing a thing, whatever. And then, you know, we just said what's up and this and that, and then we was about to dip, and he was like, hey, come here, and he was like, what about that spot you got? And I was like, yeah, shit, we still at it, man. You want to get on? And he was like, let's talk about it. And we talked about it, and he came up with some bread. He came up with like 20 grand. You know what I'm saying? To build the bathrooms. Yeah. We had graffiti artists come in and do all of this graffiti.
Who were the graffiti artists?
Bro, one of the graffiti artists was Dez, DJ Dez. Shout out to DJ Dez.
I didn't even know he was tagging back in the day. Okay.
DJ Dez came in and did some nice graffiti. And it was another artist, I forgot his name, man, but he was dope, bro. His art looked like, you remember in ATL how T.I. art looked? You remember when T.I. was an artist in ATL? So the art that he did was like a lot like that. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Like he'll be drawing like Richie Rich, driving the Lambo or something, you know what I'm saying, sitting up at the top of the roof with big dookie chains on. So this guy came in and
did a lot of probably Legends backdrops.
Yes, exactly. Probably so, for real, bro.
I knew started
exactly.
It's so Detroit that like everybody like look at their parents' pictures now, and then they got like a picture of like Belle Isle, a Lamborghini.
The Renaissance Center.
Somebody holding up a bunch of money.
You know what I'm saying?
And they like it's standing in a Coochie sweater like this.
Exactly.
Or the sleeveless chinchilla. So Detroit. So Detroit.
Listen, a sleeveless chinchilla.
Sleeveless chinchilla. Shout out to Street Lords.
Street Lords. Yes, indeed.
So now let's get
Bonnet
to
Blade.
the classic, your project now.
Well,
What's
yeah.
happening on it? As I said, I always think of you like a Detroit LL, and I know LL just dropped his project, and I'm listening to it and thinking, I'm like, yeah, man, let me hit up Amir, get him in effect.
Okay.
What's happening on this project? What was the production? What was the feel? How do people get it when it drops?
Yeah, man. I mean, it's coming. It's gonna be on all the platforms. You know what I'm saying? I go through DistroKid, so you know they get it out there to everybody, man. They made me a VIP DistroKid member.
There you go.
Yeah, when Eminem
Shout
shouted
you
me
out.
Yeah. So then what happened was Spotify called DistroKid because A Day Without a Rhyme wasn't on none of the platforms. So they called them like, you know what I'm saying, we see you got this artist, Mersiless Amir, but Eminem called us.
Yeah.
And he want A Day Without a Rhyme for his playlist on Spotify.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So then they hit me up, you know what I'm saying? And Spotify hit me up. They was emailing me and shit. I'm like, I'm tripping, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I got an email from Spotify. Like, I don't even go directly through them, you know what I'm saying? So what they emailing me about, and it was this lady named Nicole from Spotify. She reached back out like, yeah, you know, we need A Day Without a Rhyme. So I put it up there, and you know, it went crazy. Like on Spotify, on M's playlist, like I got a bunch of followers after that on there, you know. So yeah, that was cool. But this time, man, you know, what we gonna do is a lot of artists do this from time to time, man. I'm going to do the whole album, like, you know what I'm saying? You just buy the whole album. Like, it ain't going to be each song like 99 cents, $1.29. Just buy the whole record, you know what I'm saying? It's $10, you know what I'm saying? It's going to be some more classic material, you know what I'm saying? I try to, hey, that's why we work so hard, to make sure everything is A1, is something that you're going to bump forever, you know what I'm saying? Or you can always go back to it and something you can enjoy. So why not just buy the whole project? Or you could just hit me directly, you know what I'm saying? Download it. If you hit me directly, you know what I'm saying, I'm going to shoot you the Cash App. Okay. You could download it right, you know what I'm saying, right from your email. You know what I'm saying? I send WeTransfers out. Okay. But, yeah, man, we're just trying to get it popping like that. But the production is sounding A1. You know what I'm saying? I produced a few songs on there. Okay. I got a couple of other producers. I don't want to expose just yet, but and a couple of features that, you know what I'm saying, it's gonna be exciting.
We know Chaos on there. So it's going to be
exactly.
More. Okay, so that's one that we know coming. I'm still waiting on that collaboration between you and Sterling. I know that's going to be something.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah, most definitely.
So
Sterling's a talented dude, man.
So love classic Detroit is different questions now.
Okay.
And before there, how do people get in contact with you? They going to see it in the lower thirds, but how do people connect if they want to?
Yeah, you could find me on Instagram, you know what I'm saying? Mersiless, MERSILESS _ Amir, AMIR. And it's the same thing on Facebook. Twitter is just Mersiless Amir all together. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And then merciless.com is my website.
Okay. All right. So classic ones. Very first car, year, make, and model, year you got it.
Man, my very first car was a Toyota van.
Okay.
All right. And you know what I'm saying? The crazy part is it was like a cargo van. Because, you know, we had the business, so you got so it had to be utility it had to be available for utilities whenever necessary. So the whole back was empty, wasn't no seats in there, nothing. You know what I'm saying? And I have all my homeboys in there. They'd just be sitting on the floor, bro.
Hilarious.
No fucking seat belts.
I was going to say, yeah, man. I'm sure people was like, man, don't be hitting them turns heavy.
Hey, bro. Hey, listen.
Like, it was a real fight for shotgun in your car.
Straight up, bro. Everybody wanted to be in the passenger seat because there wasn't no seats in the back. But we'll be deep in that mug, man. And hey, they could tell you some stories,
came out like
man.
The A-team.
Exactly.
You pull it up. Like,
straight up, man.
A-team out here.
For real, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that was my first car, man.
Where's the first place you went where you got it?
Oh, man. The first place I went? Dang. Man, probably like Northland, bro.
Okay.
Probably Northland. You know what I'm saying? Because
Did
that.
y'all come up, did you roll deep to Northland that first trip?
No, at that first trip.
You was in Southfield, you like just went across the street almost like I'm gonna drive over here instead of walking. What up?
Straight up, man. You know what I'm saying? Northland used to be the spot, man. We just be out there just hanging out at the food court and whatnot. So yeah.
All right, you're the DJ at the end of the Detroit fireworks at Woodward and Jefferson. You get to play 2 songs. What 2 songs you playing?
Detroit fireworks on Woodward and Jefferson. Oh man, come on, man. I gotta play It's Like That. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Run DMC.
Okay, I'm like that already. I'm with it. I'm with it.
DMC Is Like That. After that, man, what's gonna be the second song, man? Man, I'm gonna have to play Knee Deep, dog.
You picking 2 I love right there.
George Clinton, Parliament Funkadelic.
Picking 2
Shout
I
out to
love
Parliament.
right there. Okay.
man.
And shout out to It's Like That, because even Hump the Grinder. He was talking about spinning at Fresh Fest.
Yeah.
Because he was the DJ on Fresh Fest for the second tour, and he was like, yo, I'm telling you, in Detroit, y'all need to do that instead of what y'all usually open with because he was like, they usually will open with Suck MCs. He was like, Detroit, they gonna feel It's Like That a whole lot more.
That's right.
He was like, yo, he was right. And that's what led to, just.
Oh, so he tipped him off, huh?
It's classic in the Detroit is Different archives. Yeah, he was like, yeah, it went wild at Fresh Fest when they did that in Detroit.
Exactly. We love that song, bro. That's a Detroit record more than it's a New York record.
That's what he was. He was like, yo, I'm telling you, the Detroiters going
straight up, bro. That might be the hardest rap song of all time, bro. What's a harder rap song than It's Like That, bro? Like, God, dog.
Me and Sterling often get into the debate of like, was Hard Times mimicking? But It's Like That is a better record.
Okay. What you saying? You think Hard Times was harder?
No, Hard Times was like the okay, let's do another one like it.
yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, I think so.
Because It's Like That does have an edge. As much as I like the message, it's more aggressive in the beat, and then just the way they stack on top of like just the classic Run DMC style that you know what I'm saying.
And then it's not no music to it. It's just that drum beat. You know what I'm saying? It's just that drum beat and that like kind of horn thing and the trumpet or something.
Yeah,
it's just sick, bro.
So I like that. Last question: you could rename Woodward after one Detroiter. Who would it be and why?
After one Detroiter. Coleman Young.
That's the most named one. Why you say Coleman?
Man, bro. Mayor Young, bro, he was just another breed, man. And you know what I'm saying? I don't think it was another black mayor like that in America, you know what I'm saying, who he couldn't be swayed, you know what I'm saying? He had vision for this city and he was determined to see it through, you know what I'm saying? He was determined to give black people you know what I'm saying, a leg up, you know what I'm saying, and a place to, really raise their families that they could, I don't know, man, just take their lifestyles and their livelihoods to another level, you know what I'm saying? And so he kind of protected that dream for us here, Yeah. And obviously, you got a lot of people that didn't want to see him in office and
Definitely
didn't want to see a black man, giving those opportunities to our black communities. And, so, hey, Coleman Young, man, GOAT.
There you go.
Man. Yeah.
I love it. Thank you so much. I'm definitely going to have you back, but check for the Mersiless Amir drop.
One more thing. Let me tell you what the name of the album is, man. The new album is called Legendhood. You know what I'm saying? And Legendhood is about to be a household name. So, you know what I'm saying? I just want y'all to just let that marinate for a minute. You know what I'm saying? And, and I got some other stories, man. You talked about, I don't want to keep going, but you talked about Sinatra and the mob in music and everything. Listen, I got mob stories from L.A. I got all kind of stories. And we shot my video for Playing the Odds in that studio in the Solar Tower. You know what I'm saying? Which became Babyface Edmonds Tower. He bought it. And then a friend of mine, Diane Warren, owns that building now. And so that's how I ended up shooting my video in there and recording, record a lot of stuff there. Cool. Shout out to Diane Warren. Shout out to Mario Lucy. He's one of my close friends and the engineers, a lot of stuff on my records and masters and everything. So, you know what I'm saying? But that's their home now, you know what I'm saying? So I was just out there when I shot that last video. I was up there. But we shot that video in there, in that room, where the gunshot went off and the bullet hole still in the wall. You know what I'm saying? From Death Row.
Hey,
so, yeah,
definitely.
But yeah, man, we'll talk more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we definitely bring you back. Yeah, you got some
never ending story, never ending story, man.
Mersiless Amir,
yeah.
Legend,
yeah.
Legendhood.
Thank you.
Check for it. I'm definitely gonna be on the spin of it.
Appreciate it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Thanks again.
Detroit is Different is where you get information, artistry, history, music, and even comedy. Detroit is Different, a home for the culture of Detroit. Visit online at DetroitisDifferent.com today.